Check, check. Check, 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 check. Check 1, 2, 3. 8 minutes, 30 seconds before game time. Audio check. Audio check. Volume 65%. Audio check. Check, check. 3 minutes to game time. Check, check. Check, 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 check. Check, check. Caleb's mic, 65%. Check, check.
Washington Vikings and your Central Washington Wildcats. Please direct your attention to the flag, the playing of the national anthem. Let's meet tonight's starting lineups. First, for the visiting Vikings. At guard, from Emerson, Washington, number 1, Avery Nystrom. At guard, from Seal Beach, California, number 10, Andy Lonnie. At guard, from Tumwater, Washington, number 12, Emma Goff. At Wildcats are coached by Randy Richardson Thornley. She's assisted by Jessica Richardson. Infield Diaz. The Wildcats athletic trainer is Amy Deemer. The NCAA Great Northwest Athletic Conference in Central Washington University encourage and promote sportsmanship while student athletes, coaches, and spectators. Profanity, racial or ethnic comments, or other intimidating actions directed at players, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from Nicholson Pavilion.
Jeff McMillan on the boulevard that is made for Dean Nicholson in the house, named after Leo Nicholson. Welcome to the Wildcats Sports Radio Network's live coverage of Central Washington University basketball. The Wildcats women take the court against Western Washington. The women Wildcats step onto the court tonight. We will be joined shortly by Caleb Dunlap taking over play-by-play up in the booth. The ball dropped down low to Bowman, and the score as the women Wildcats come off a long hiatus to open up the scoring here early. Samantha Bowman, number 23, takes the court as the center for this Wildcats team. Long shot to open the game, and a three-pointer by number 10, Emma Duff, the senior 6-foot guard out of Tumwater, bringing it up the floor. Now the Wildcats look to spread the floor out wearing the white jerseys, black numbers on them. Swinging the ball around, looking to drive to the hoop is number 32. Coming back the other way. Duff bringing it up, attacking the Wildcats in transition. A little bounce pass off, a little floater up and in. Number 15, Rogers on the score. Kelsey Rogers, the forward. High screen and roll, looking around. Wildcats looking to create something with Jenna Troy. Now underneath, tough shot missed by Maida. We're coming back the other way. Duff handling all the possessions for her squad to kick it off. Looking for a high screen. Western always looks for threes, and then they'll drive to the hoop. A big block on the interior by Bowman. The Wildcats in transition, moving, seeing if they can get a mismatch. Ball down inside. Double team. Sam Bowman, tough fight underneath, almost takes the rebound back. Coming back the other way. The floor spread out. The women Wildcat man-to-man defense here early on in the game. 5-2 the score, 8 minutes left. Little dump off. Little 8-foot jumper on the baseline, buried by Kelsey Roger on that one. The Wildcats talking over with their coaching staff, trying to get something. Randy Richardson Thornley, the head coach of CWU. We're being joined up in the booth. Caleb Dunlap will be taking over play-by-play. I'll do my best to give color as he gets adjusted there. Ball out, set for the inbound. Ball set to inbound. And there we are, Caleb Dunlap joined us in. How you doing, bud?
Tired. It's a long walk to get my large frame up here.
Duff with the rebound underneath. We'll let Caleb take it over from here. With a little cough. He winded. Duff kicks it out to Roger. Roger dumps it down inside. Underneath, looking for the backside layup. Rattles it in, and Western Washington has been dominant, opening up a 9-2 lead with 7:30 on the clock.
Vikings have had quite a few more opportunities than the Wildcats so far on the season as Central turns it over there. The Wildcats playing in their first of 2 games against the Vikings.
Swinging around on the perimeter, that long jump shot and another one. That's the second three-pointer from almost the exact same spot made by this Western team.
As soon as we get a recovery in here, Jeff, I'll be good to go. We're going to have to get the Wildcats athletic trainer, Amy Deemer, up here with an oxygen mask.
As we look down on the floor, opening up with Duff making the three there. I'm getting used to the roster. I got so used to calling the men's roster. Now I'm glancing over the women's. Got to get used to it. A lot of new faces, but some of the same old ones for Central. It's good to see Sam Bowman back out there for the Wildcats. Can you talk to me about what this team looks like to you as we've come into this new reduced season?
Well, you know, it's been an interesting ride for the Wildcats. Obviously, they expected to play a little bit more than 2 games on the year. But with the pandemic going on, there's some things you can't control, and, you know, things happen. It's unfortunate because, you know, Kiza Maltizo, who's out there, number 14 for Central, transferred to the Wildcats from Concordia down in Portland after Concordia Portland abruptly closed last year. Very unfortunate for them. She came to Central hoping to get that one more year, and unfortunately she's only going to get 2 games out of it. But you're looking at a team that is relatively young. Everybody's going to be back next year from what I know. Obviously the NCAA having the waivers across the board now, not just for certain sports. So it's a chance to bring people back. And, you look at players like Cassidy Malcolm, who are obviously going to benefit from that. Tori Maeda, these couple games, while they are just 2 games, and obviously out to a little bit of a disappointing start here in this one, 12-2, but it is a chance for them to get back on the floor. Maeda across center, now Maltese for Malcolm, an open look at 3, and the Ellensburg native knocks it down.
Malcolm's a great scorer, someone that can give you multiple, stat sheet filling stats, especially with that new long-range jump shot.
Now underneath, bit of a scramble, kicked out, and a travel will be called against Carly Zaragoza.
Zaragoza's got a strong frame. She was able to bully her way across the middle of the lane. But really it's opening up from the dribble penetration. I think that the Wildcats are a little rusty on the defensive end, especially on the perimeter.
Maltese again looking underneath for Malcolm. Spinning, that one will go off the rim. Vikings with the defensive board. They found Dykstra open. Carly Zaragoza with the jumper from mid-range.
Zaragoza wide open, the penetration creates again.
Maltese, now Malcolm. Driving the lane, a layup not gonna go. It'll be recovered by Emma Duff for the Vikings. Oh, and a pass there, a stretch pass. Stevens couldn't knock it down. A bucket's gonna count, a foul on the play. That will go against Kiara Bush, I believe. A couple changes for the Wildcats. Bowman coming back on, as is Jenna Troy.
Molly Olson, when she caught that ball that was rifled into her, I think that she was a little surprised that it came through as the Wildcat was jumping in, almost had that cornerback style pick from football. She made a strong finish at the basket, but what a pass.
Taylor Stevens trying to knock that one down, and the three-point play complete as Olson knocks down the free throw. And Jeff, if you're not aware, 365 days to the day, almost to the hour, of when the GNAC stopped their seasons last year.
It's one of the crazy things, because I know where I was when I found out that it was probably going to be stopping. I was about 8 feet away from you.
Yeah, I was doing this at softball. Troy now for Central, 10 on the shot clock. Here's Bush underneath for Bowman. Bowman can't make that one go, and the defensive board is taken in.
I'll say that Olson is the double team along with Oberg. Missed shot underneath, but they're using a double team underneath on both the Wildcats bigs when they're down there. They're fronting and playing on the backside. So see where Olson is, where the extra defender is.
Maeda dumps it down low for Bowman. Now outside, here's Troy. Back for Bowman underneath. 3 Navy jerseys converge. The ball is knocked loose, and the Vikings are going the other way. On the fast break, it's Fierke for the Vikings.
Confusion in transition for the Wildcats. It's early on. You can see the rust on this team that was ready to go, 2 weeks ago, and then everything kind of fell apart.
Bush now Troy. Looking for help. Able to find Tori Maeda. Now onto the near side for Bowman. Bowman for 3. That one kicks off the back of the rim, and it is hauled in by Olson. Zaragoza underneath, and it's going to be an offensive foul.
Outstanding opportunity, got her feet planted just outside of the ring underneath the basket. The crazy thing that happened, though, is that three-pointer was ill-advised. It's one of my favorite words, but you saw the Wildcats were still running into the set position. You saw Maeda crossing through and just hucking up a three-pointer. I think this is where the Wildcats have to be careful. Down 19-5 here with just under 4.5 minutes left early on in the first quarter.
Latin and Maltese check on for Central. Maltese's got the layup underneath in the paint. It's 19-7 Wildcats with 4:20 on the game clock here in the first quarter, and the Vikings have turned it over in unforced error. And Western will make a pair of subs as Iwami comes back on, as does Kelsey Rogers.
You talked about Maltezo coming over from Concordia. They didn't just close down their athletics department or program. They closed down the entire school. Really tough for a lot of young student athletes. Great smooth down inside and a score by 24. Cassidy Malcolm for the Wildcats.
Over center, it's Danny Owami, who has been a headache for the Wildcats in previous seasons. This one gets kicked around. Recovered by the Vikings. Owami gets it back. Rogers on the pick. That pass knocked down by Bowman. She's going to hang on to it and spin out of trouble. Now finding Jenna Troy. And Central's over the center line. Maltezo with 3 immediately. That one's off the rim. The rebound hauled in by Gamaka, and she is going to go down after being fouled by Cassidy Malcolm.
Wildcats need to watch out. Cassidy Malcolm is someone that could give you 20 rebounds and 15 points a night, but you can't have her in foul trouble early. Obviously, that was a tough one there, as just a lot of contact and everybody kind of tumbled to the floor, but they'll need to keep an eye on that as there's still a lot of game left to play.
It's Owami over center. Looking underneath, that's back-to-back passes. Bowman is knocked away, and it will be swatted out of Owami's hands. I believe that was Glatton who got the hand to it.
Number 20 for the Wildcats, Glatton. I'm trying to learn all the names. It was a great move. She never had to leave the floor. It was just great hand movement as she swung her hand right across the front of the face and into the ball.
Rogers, now Owami gets it back. Gamaka's shot no good. Ball still loose on the rebound. Bowman will come away with it. Now Bowman pushing to the near side. Glatton for 3. That one doesn't fall, and instead it's another Viking rebound. Western's offense moving quickly here. Troy trying to close the gap.
Coleman picked up her dribble, lost every sight of everyone, and then the Wildcats came crashing down, giving tough defense. When you pick up your dribble, you basically stop the whole game for you, and you take away any other passing lanes that you could create. The Wildcats knew that, made sure to play tough defense, forcing the turnover.
It's Kiza Maltezo for the Wildcats over center. Owami staying close. Now here's Malcolm looking for Bowman underneath. Rogers almost knocked it away. Back for Malcolm. Malcolm spins and is forced to retreat. Back to Maltezo now. She'll change the play up with 6 on the shot clock. 5 now. Maltezo throws up a 3 and she's got it.
Great form coming from the attack position. Just lets it loose over the defender's outstretched arm.
19-12 with 2.5 to go here in quarter number 1. Rogers, Owami underneath. That one had a little too much on it. Troy going the other way. Here's Maltezo driving the lane. That doesn't go, and it will be Vikings ball. Western gonna make a pair of subs here, checking on Duff and Olsen once again.
Duff coming into the game, 5 points, the leading scorer for her team early on here. Along with that, though, on the flip side for the Wildcats, Wildcats have 2 players with 5 points, Maltezo and Malcolm.
And a Vikings player ends up on the floor. Kinsley Glatton with the foul. 3rd foul for Central, just the one for the Vikings thus far. Olsen will inbound. Now Coleman. Duff, right of the charity stripe. Rogers got it for 2.
Rogers, the player that went down, gave herself a little breather when she was standing on the backside and then attacked with that little jumper.
Maltezo, that one comes out of her hand. They're gonna say that Olsen got a hand to it. It'll be Central's ball on the baseline. I have not been up in this view in quite some time.
It shows you how bad your eyes really are and how old you're really getting. I mean, for me, it always takes a little while to adjust, and then you just kind of learn the look. I mean, it's just how it is. But I'll tell you, the Wildcats team, they're going to claw back into this one, down 21-12 with just under 2 minutes here in the first quarter. You're starting to see them get into a rhythm, starting to get the set shots and the plays that they want to run. They like going into the post, obviously, with their great power forward center combo.
Speaking of the post, Malcolm underneath can't get it to go. Here's Olsen for the Vikings in the attacking half. A quick shot taken by Coleman for 3, and it's 24-12 Vikings. Maeda over center, trying to work fast to Bowman underneath. She gets the points in the lane.
Bowman streaking down the floor, just came wide open underneath. Great find.
Right to the hoop goes Olsen. She can't get it to go. Maeda will take it up the near side over center. Tries to dig by. Ooh, looking for Jenna Troy in the corner. Able to find her. That pass almost got away. Here's Sam Bowman into the paint. She's going to be stripped. Picked up by Coleman. Fierke gets it to fall.
That's the second big finish in transition that Fierke has. You see her dead sprint speed. When she sees the lane open, she comes slashing from wherever she is.
Maeda gave it off to Gallatin, who almost had it chipped away. Bowman, Maeda. Kinsley Gallatin now all around the outside. Olsen right on top of Maeda. The pick from Bowman. Maeda's shot off the front of the rim. Picked up by Kelsey Rogers, and now the Vikings will go the other way, and doing so fairly slowly. Here is Molly Olsen.
Madison Coleman, somebody to keep an eye on in this game, especially on the defensive end. Her hands are very quick, and she's playing really tight on the Wildcats.
In front of press row. Olsen holding, and she'll take a chance at three. That one undershot, but picked up underneath on the rebound by Coleman. The Vikings are going to get another chance, and this time it'll be Emma Duff who comes up with the point. So through one quarter, the Vikings leading 28-14.
28-14, we're going to be out with a quick break, but we'll be back with more Wildcats action here on the Wildcat Sports Radio Network.
Second quarter getting underway here in Ellensburg. And a quick turnaround there from Gamaka, and it's 30-14. The Vikings leading in this one. Central going left to right. The Vikings going right to left.
It's the usual suspects for the Wildcats. The bigs are getting the scoring.
As Maltezo's shot off the front of the rim, no good.
But they're taking a lot of shots to get their combined 9 points for the two bigs down low.
Foul is going to be called. It's going to be offensive against Emma Duff. First foul of quarter number 2.
One of the things that we're seeing out there, though, is this. We were talking about it in the break, how many scoring opportunities that the Vikings have had and how many players have scored. In the neighborhood of 10 players have already scored for the Vikings in this game.
Meanwhile, the Wildcats working with just 8 total players tonight.
8 players scored for the Vikings, 8 players total available for the Wildcats. It looks like it's going to be a tough night for the Wildcats, able to get in there and get an early score.
Giza Maltezo picking up the basket, and she's going to go to the line for one more as a foul called against the Vikings, Katrina Gamaka. So Maltezo at the line, but not before a substitution here on the Vikings side. Danny Awami will re-enter, and Olsen will grab a breather. Maltezo's free throw is up and good. Now the Vikings will take the offense. Iwami, and Jenna Troy is going to put just a little bit of pressure on her before she gets over half court. Iwami's over the center line. Avery Dykstra wants to check in at the next opportunity for the Vikings. Here's Iwami. Finds some help in Coleman. Coleman with a shot off the rim. All in by Stevens.
Coleman shooting over 2 defenders, but I'll tell you, Iwami is something to watch. She's got this quick snap on her wrist as she passed the ball. She's got great vision. Eyes are always up. That's why she's creating so much for her team, because she's so confident in the basic skills she has and strong fundamentals.
Avery Dykstra is on and Coleman is off. Another change for the Vikings. Zaragoza will come on, and that will mean Gamaka will head for a breather. On the restart, Maltezo right on top of the U. Well, now just beneath the U on the CW Center logo. Bowman to Troy. Troy driving the baseline. Back to Bowman up top of the key. Maltezo, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Pulls up, that one no good. Duff on the rebound for Western. Western wasting no time here. Duff pulls up for a 3. Rebound picked up by Avery Dykstra offensively. The Vikings will hang on. Iwami for Duff. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Western working the ball around the outside. Now going for Zaragoza. Her shot no good. Both Bowman and Zaragoza go down. No foul called there. Shot clock resets. Here's Zaragoza again on the C right at the charity stripe. Back for Iwami, and the Vikings are going to have to reset.
Zaragoza, when she went down incredibly dramatic fashion. Wildcats get a block. They're in transition.
Looked like Bowman got a hand to it. Maltezo looking for Bowman. She finds her. Kicks that one back out for Stevens, and she's got the 3 from deep.
Great vision out of the post. Not usually a pass you want to throw is to the far side corner from the deep near side post, but there it worked.
30-20, the Vikings lead with 7:17 on the clock here in quarter number 2. Dykstra driving underneath, now kicks it out for Iwami for 3. She's got it. 33-20, the Vikings lead.
I will say it all night. Penetration is leading to open looks from range, but also the play of the bigs down low for Western Washington, their ability to hit the jumpers.
Dykstra and Maltezo battling right on top of the logo, and Duff gonna walk her way into the paint for an easy layup.
Timeout on the court allows us to stay here. 35-20 was just under 7 minutes here. The Wildcats trailing Western Washington. Obviously a little bit of a court rust out there, but some of the things to keep an eye on that have happened. We've been enamored, I have at least, with Iwami's play, but as well, Duff. Great athleticism for both of them. Iwami just seems like a really complete player. Great vision of the floor. Duff has had great usage. They've seemed to go through Duff as much as they can throughout the game. 9 points already for Duff. On the season, Duff has played pretty darn well for this team. A great defensive rebounder for the team, second on the team in defensive rebounds, but has a problem leading this team with a little bit of personal foul issues. So that's something to keep an eye on if the Wildcats can start penetrating and getting body. On the flip side, some of the little things that you're seeing from the Wildcats, I'm impressed with Bush. Kiara Bush down low. Her defensive play is great. She battles the 2 bigs that have been out there when she's been in there. She's fighting for everything. She hasn't been able to really turn it into great boards because it's early on, I think, in her college career, so she's getting kind of pushed out of the way. A little bit of time in the weight room, I think, will really develop her, but the Wildcats right now need to find that rhythm. Down by 15. It's what they came in and down by 16 just 3 minutes ago.
And they did manage to work it back to 30-20 before the 5-0 run here from the Vikings. And you know, Danny Iwami, I've had a chance to watch her play a few times. She was at Hawaii Pacific before she came over to Western, and was a thorn in the side of nearly everybody she faced when she was with the Sharks, and in the couple years that she has been at Western, she has been a thorn in the Wildcats side as well. Here's Malcolm now driving the lane, steps inside the paint, tosses that one up, it does not go. A second effort from Malcolm's not gonna go. Retrieved by Riley Dykstra.
Malcolm almost had a second rebound there, wasn't able to complete the easy putback though.
Iwami working to her left off of Maltezo. The screen by Riley Dykstra allows the pass to Rogers. Malcolm, though, pulls in the rebound.
Rogers' first miss of the night. She nailed a couple 8-footers and a 15-footer early on, but she misses that one on the baseline.
Sierra Bush underneath, battling with Rogers, and a foul is called.
Bush, that's what we were talking about. You see her get pushed away a little bit, but she's down there fighting for everything. As it goes for her, she will find a little more strength. And, you know, maybe it could just be the matchup. I mean, matchups are, styles create the matchup, and it's a tough thing to get in there with somebody that just has, maybe potentially has a little more power than you, and that's what I see from Zaragoza. That's what I see from Rogers. This front line is very physical and plays that way, especially with interior screens, does Western Washington.
Bush 1 for 2 at the charity stripe. Rebound taken in by Gracie Castaneda. The Vikings will restart the offense. Over center is Iwami. The Wildcats will have a sub in the next offing. It looks like Bowman will check back in. Kick back out to Iwami. She draws inside. Not going to go. Malcolm on the rebound. She'll hand it off to Tori Maeda. Here's Kiza Maltizo in front of the press row, moving her way into attacking territory. Maeda to her right, Iwami going with her. Maeda throws it up, and she's got the bucket.
It's good to see Maeda out there scoring for the Wildcats.
A long pass over the top variety for Castaneda for a quick response.
Wildcats not ready in transition. Finishing the thought, though, it's good to see Maeda out there, a fixture for the Wildcats last year.
Maeda, now Kiera Bush. Underneath for Malcolm. That one's going to go off the fingertips. Avery Dykstra reeled it in, looking for Castaneda now in the near side corner. Able to reel that in and stay close, keep the ball in. Here's Riley Dykstra now, Danny Iwami, screen set by Riley Dykstra. And marking another quick two for the Vikings. They are up 39-23 with just under 5 to go here in the opening stanza.
Bush getting a little lost 2 times down the floor. In that one, she had her eyes on a different portion of the court. Heard the person she was defending just slip behind her.
Kinsley Gallatin's pass underneath for Malcolm, no dice there. Vikings driving down, and Avery Dykstra with another quick bucket. It has been that transition as there's another timeout on the floor from the Wildcats.
Coach Randy Richardson Thornley out there. I could see her with her hands on her head. I knew the timeout was near. Very stressful moments. As you can see, she's just seeing little mistakes that are turning into big scores for Western Washington. Bush had her eyes looking out on the perimeter while her defender just slipped behind her on that little penetration and dump off. That's what's happened to the Wildcats a few times. The Wildcats really need to start working on the fundamentals and just trusting the team around them and their teammates to be able to make the plays and not try and play a little bit of hero ball. On the offensive end, the Wildcats have had a couple ill-advised passes. I think they had the right idea trying to go down to the post of Bowman and Malcolm, but I think that they're just not giving them easy passes to receive inside. That's the first thing you got to do if you're going to make the post offense work, is get the ball in the hands of the offensive post player.
41-23 with 4.5 to go in the second quarter. Western Washington leading the Wildcats. First game of the shortened season for Central as Gallatin dumps that one off and Bowman was able to pick it up. Maltizo back to Bowman, back to Maltizo. Maltizo for 3. That one's not going to fall. The Vikings recover the defensive board and Castaneda will take things over. Now Iwami. Underneath, Riley Dykstra. Poked away by Maltizo, and that ball's going to continue to roll as there was a collision at center court. A foul is called. It is going to go against Kiza Maltizo, her first foul of the contest. The Wildcats want to make a change. I heard the horn. There's the second horn. And there's the wave in. Jenna Troy is going to check on for Kinsley Gallatin.
Maltizo gets called for the foul, but you know that's a foul that's okay to give. I mean, that's a player diving on the floor for a ball, trying to create an opportunity. You want something aggressive like that, and that's what you need if you're the Wildcats right now.
Here's Danny Iwami underneath for Kelsey Rogers. Bowman's going to get credit for another block there. Got a hand to that one. Tori Maeda comes away with it. That pass from Maltizo almost escaped her. Now Bowman underneath. Spins and fires for 2.
Bowman has that great power bounce that she puts in and always tries to finish strong under the hoop. It was great to see her put it down. Wildcats could potentially find a rhythm here.
Zaragoza Looking to check on for the Vikings. This pass all the way to Owami for 3. Not gonna go. It will be Wildcat ball.
Great little setup there. Rogers giving the screen, opening up for Owami there to try and bury that 3. 41-25 Wildcats trail with just over 3 minutes here before half.
And a possession change, it will go to the Vikings, say the referee, so we'll flip back. The Vikings going to be in offense, and Avery Dykstra will start things out. Zaragoza guarded by Bowman, driving into the paint. She's got 2.
Zaragoza just uses her shoulder to get into the Wildcats defender. Easy up and in right there.
Maeda starting out slowly, finally crossing center. Here's Bowman for Kiza Maltizo. Avery Dykstra right on her. Bowman tried to fire that one to Malcolm and hit the bottom of the backboard. Malcolm recovers. Hockey assist to the bottom of the backboard.
It was beautiful pass, clearly drawn up that way for the Wildcats.
Travel is going to be called against Avery Dykstra. And a substitution for the Vikings. Skamaka will check on, and for the Wildcats, it'll be Taylor Stevens. 2:42 to go in quarter number 2, 43-27, the Vikings leading.
Stevens versus Dykstra will be interesting because Stevens gives you a lot of reach over Dykstra, probably about 5 inches.
Underneath, Jenna Troy for an open 2.
Beautiful backdoor cut on that one. Wildcats starting to find a little something. 43-29 right now. Wildcats still trailing.
Castaneda, Zaragoza, that one is up. Malcolm, a little bit of a collision there. She's okay. Here's Stevens, just entered the ball game. Fired across now for Jenna Troy. A birthday hop and 3, not gonna fall. Bowman the rebound. She's got the putback for 2.
Bowman takes it easily away from Olsen because she has the huge size difference. And the big thing that happened there was in transition, Western's been doing such a great job of finding the Wildcats' primary players and making sure to match up. There, they just forgot about somebody on the far side of the floor when the switch came. Rebound was easy. Wildcats finish underneath.
The first quarter and a half, first quarter, 3 quarters, I would say.
Quarter and 3 quarters?
We've seen the Vikings be the ones to take advantage of the transition, but Central finally getting into and taking advantage of the transition.
2:05 on the clock, 43-31. It's a tough game for the Wildcats, but they're back on the court, and I can tell you, it means a lot to everyone. I mean, you're around this program a lot. You know how much it means to these players. We've talked a little bit about players who transferred in, but it's the returning staples of this team that are going to be the big thing that we take away. I mean, Bowman, and a huge breakup in the middle. Huge saving play by Coleman there.
I was too busy live tweeting for the timeout there. Pulling double duty up here. Again, not quite as bad as softball where it's triple duty, so we're okay. Now underneath it, Zaragoza back out. Yamaka's shot not gonna fall. It was poked out of Malcolm's hand, but it will remain Wildcat possession.
I think it still is triple duty. I mean, you give your great introduction. We make sure not to talk over it as you gave the open. I love it. I love telling my students when we need something like that, when I need that announcer-style voice, that PA voice, I'm like, act more like Caleb. And then what I get is a terrible Bruce Buffer rendition from every one of them.
You know, it took me a few years to finally realize, especially at basketball, as Troy takes this one back to the top of the key, and a kicked ball there. So we'll reset and try it again. But it's being okay with embarrassing yourself, especially on press row. I mean, during normal times when this gym is packed for this rivalry game, you got to give it everything, and you got to realize you might look a bit odd down on press row doing it.
I'll tell you, as a great pass fake.
Troy blocked by Zaragoza.
Troy gave a beautiful pass fake, but Zaragoza didn't fall for it. Just gave that long reach, played physical, swatted it out. Western ball 43-31. Wildcats trailing here at Leo Nicholson Pavilion with about 1:20 left on the clock before half.
The Vikings will start out. It's Molly Olsen. Central trying to put a little pressure, but Gallatin being run off. Back for Olsen as she works her way around the arc. Coleman, bounce pass into Zaragoza, now outside for Duff. Duff with the pump fake, now cuts to the left of Maeda. For 2, Yamaka's got 2 more for her night. 4 points.
Gamaka gave a beautiful head and shoulders fake. It got the Wildcat defender to back away, and then an easy open look.
Maeda over center finds Bowman. Hands it off. Here's Maeda again. Now Malcolm inside the paint, trying to fight her way in. That one doesn't fall. And the rebound hauled in by Gamaka. Coleman's going to slow things down here just a second. Here's Olsen now. Back for Coleman. Now Duff working her way around the outside. Olsen, 9 seconds on the shot clock. 5 on the shot clock, 7 in the quarter. 3 seconds now, 2 seconds. That shot from Coleman is over the top. It's a shot clock violation. So there will be 1.1 second. We'll have to see if they add any time here. I'd guess it'd be 1.4, 1.5.
I've been watching the women's team for a long time, and I'll tell you, even back in the Jeff Arata day, they did communicate really well on the floor. I think the issue here is the Wildcats aren't yelling at each other, calling out screens and whatnot.
And they're going to say the time did not start on time. So that is going to end the first half. 45-31, the Vikings ahead.
As we get ready to go into halftime, we got 15 minutes here. I'll tell you, the Wildcats looked like they got a little bit of a rhythm late. They started finding what they wanted to do. It's going to be the bigs down low. We're going to get out of here, take a quick break, but we'll be back here with some halftime stats right before the start of the second half here on the Wildcat Sports Radio Network.
I used to pray
45-31 as we come back from half. The Vikings leading the Wildcats. Central will inbound. They're now going right to left across your screen, and the Vikings going left to right. A shot from Maltezo finds Malcolm instead. Rogers is going to reel in the rebound for the Vikings, and Iwami will take it over center.
13, 14 months ago, that's a shot that goes down for Malcolm on that one. That's a power bounce, and then she just kind of leans back into the hoop. Little rust right there. The Wildcats need to crawl back into this game with easy looks underneath. Continue getting the ball down low.
Emma Duff, the end of the paint for two as she backed away Sam Bowman there nicely.
That's how Duff started it all off. She started the scoring off for Western Washington, and she seems to continue it here in the second half.
Jenna Troy loses the handle, able to recover it. Now Malcolm driving the lane into the paint, off the board for two.
Great dribble work, and Cassidy Malcolm working from that wing scores easily with the crossover.
Iwami near the far corner. Here's Rogers. Right at the edge of the paint, back for Iwami. Troy got a little bit lost on defense there, and Iwami's shot doesn't fall, but here's Jenna Troy over center. Iwami right on top of her, lost the handle again. A foul is going to be called. We'll have to see which way that ends up going.
And you know, I was actually getting ready to talk about the last time down. Iwami's great hands. You have to use your shoulder and your back to shield that ball, and that's exactly what happened there. Is Troy's a little careless, not protecting it. You got to use your leg, you got to use your shoulder, you got to use some, you got to create 1990s style. Get a little extension on the arm to give yourself a little space there.
The first foul went against Danny Iwami, her second, and now the Wildcats are going to get called for a foul right on the inbound. Sam Bowman gets her first, so foul apiece to open the third quarter. I almost said third half. Avery Dykstra, now Rogers. Attempted shot by Duff there for three, no good. Maltezo slings it cross court for Jenna Troy. Troy on the baseline, able to find Maltezo, not gonna fall.
Great pass, good look by Maltezo. Transition.
Dykstra underneath, no, offensive foul called instead. It'll go against Gracie Castaneda.
The second charge that Maltezo has been able to pick up in this game. Beautiful footwork there. You watched her glance down with her eyes over her right shoulder to see where she was, and then just took that shoulder right to the chest.
Wildcats will start back out on offense. Troy works her way to the left. Now for Maltezo, Tori Maeda's gonna check in at the next opportunity. Here's Malcolm for three. Off the front of the rim, Bowman the rebound, and a foul called. It's gonna go against Iwami. That is her third. I believe that's who it's gonna go against at least. And now Maeda will check on for Jenna Troy, and Zaragoza will come on for Rogers.
Waiting to see who that went on that one.
I do believe it was Iwami based on what I could see from the hands as Bowman knocks down her first free throw.
Looks like she's going to stay at 2 personal fouls is what it looks like out here.
Second one up and down as well for Bowman. 47-35 with 7:58 to go in the third quarter. Here's Emma Duff. Driving into the key, trying to break into the paint, does so, backs off Cassidy Malcolm, gets her own rebound. Second effort, no good. Bowman comes away with an offensive board. Now Maeda finds Maltezo into the middle for Malcolm. And Iwami smothered that one, and a foul is going to be called. Malcolm will be at the line shooting two.
Malcolm in the middle doing exactly what she does. Get down inside. If she misses, gets her own rebound. Does the old Wilt Chamberlain stat stuffing is what her plan is there.
Molly Olson will come on for Iwami. That foul charge to Emma Duff, her second of the contest, as Cassidy Malcolm heads to the free throw line. First one short.
Malcolm 9 points. The leading scorer for the Wildcats is Bowman with 10.
That one's off the back, 0 for 2 for Malcolm there. Here's Olson. Thought about driving the lane, pulled back. Zaragoza. That That one's not going to fall. Duff trying to track down the rebound. Will not get to it before it touches down out of play. So Wildcat basketball. Maeda on the restart. Olsen right there with her, keeping pace. Slung to the near side. Back up top for Malcolm. Malcolm spins into the lane. Not going to fall. Avery Dykstra cuts around Maltezo for two. And it's 49-35 with 7 to go. And Jeff, the Vikings get nearly the entire team back next year. As that one goes in for 3, the Wildcats able to end a little bit of a scoring drought there.
I want to get a word in edgewise, but these women are just up and down the court. It's amazing. There's some different things I'm seeing from this Wildcat team, but this Western team, talking about the returning players, this team is going to be tough to stop, especially on the interior, as the score on the inside by Zaragoza on that one, just battling down there is Carly.
Maltezo into the lane, a mid-range jumper there.
Maltezo trying to single-handedly push this game back in with just the pace that she's pushing when she gets the ball in the wing for the Wildcats.
Vikings inside the paint. Oh, a big foul there. The bucket is going to count for Zaragoza as Maltezo is going to get called for the blocking foul.
Maltezo trying to pick up her 3rd charge on someone in the game. She was inside the restricted area there. That's what happened, but she did get those feet down. Impressive to watch that happen.
Bush, Stevens, and Troy will check on for Central, as Jamaica will make her way in for the Vikings.
Special thanks to Jeff Evans correcting the name for us. Can't forget to let him know. A friend of 88 won the Berg. Peyton Behrens always loved going up to Western and talking with Jeff Evans. Now Peyton has moved on to KTTH in Seattle, and then he has an opportunity to do some Sounders games here and there for their minor league team.
Actually helped fill in during a couple of those S2 games for Mr. Behrens. Now here's Malcolm outside this paint, spins, and she has 2, ending a personal dry spell there for scoring.
You know, as we see this transition, the Wildcats, it's just pace, pace, pace right now for Western and Central. But the Wildcats aren't finding that that same high post that they usually run. And that's one of the things to talk about is the Wildcats for the most part would usually start everything at the top with a Kaylee Flores in years past. You're not seeing that being able to happen with a Cassidy Malcolm. It's just not her style, but they're trying to fit her in where she takes the ball high and then drops it low.
Kira Bush has 2. Malcolm able to find her underneath. 53-44 as Olsen will cut inside, dish off to Zaragoza, and a foul is going to be called. That's going to go against the Wildcats. It'll be immediate timeout on the floor. 53-44, 4:59 to go in quarter number 3.
That'll give us a chance to take a quick break here on the Wildcat Sports Radio Network. .53-44, the Wildcats have cut
what was at one point, Jeff, a 16-point lead down to 9.
16-point lead as we came out of, if I remember, the half was a 16-point deficit. The Wildcats, we were talking about the pace and, you know, is it the intention of a Western Washington to push it? We kind of had a discussion. I think it's Maltezo right now who's really kind of stepping everyone up. She's kind of playing a little bit of hero ball where she is attacking and using her explosive nature. I mean, she's been waiting a long time to get on the court, as all of these women have for the Wildcats. But you can tell there's just a little something extra for her as she pushes that ball up, and she's got great vision on the court as well for the Wildcats.
Zaragoza 1 for 2 at the charity stripe. The rebound, however, does go to the Vikings, so they will get another offensive possession. Olsen spins off Troy for 2.
Wildcats for a long time have been known for their great interior players. Wildcats continue to have 2 great interior players. They'll get them back next year. That's something to look forward to as the Wildcats turn the ball over as Bush makes an ill-advised pass.
Coleman. That one's going to have to come out. Zaragoza's going to go right back in, and a foul called.
Zaragoza able to bulldoze over Bush on that one.
The bucket counts. It is the 3rd foul of the evening for Kira Bush. Zaragoza back at the line, this time for the and 1. And that one rattles around, touched just about every part of the rim and comes out. Fighting for it, Olsen comes away with it. Bowman's got another block, but that one rattles around. Zaragoza again underneath. Travel called this time.
Bush thought she was going to get called for a foul on that one as she made contact. She seems a little, I don't want to say lost on the court, but she is definitely not playing with her feet. She's playing with her eyes more than she should be.
Maltezo to Stevens, now Stevens onto the CW charity stripe. Bowman works it back to Maltezo. Maltezo spins around. Coleman, a mid-range jumper. I don't know if somebody got a hand on that. I think they did. Back to Maltezo for a deep 3 off the front of the rim. Bush is going to get a defensive rebound here as that one fell into her left hand. Here's Bowman cutting to her right, trying to step through. And she will draw the foul inside the lane, so she's headed to the free throw line.
Jamaica on the inside had a little bit of an arm bar on Bush there. Bush was still able to take it away with one hand. A lot of tough battling. It's good to see that they're letting him play, but they're also calling the fouls when it gets a little too physical.
Rogers checks on for the Vikings. Maeda and Gallatin for the Wildcats. Central getting the subs in there before the free throws. 3:38, it's 58-44. It'll stay there as Bowman's first free throw does not connect, and I think that's something that head coach Randy Richardson Thornley might stress after this one is you got to get the point to the charity stripe when you can take them.
Wildcats, though, still getting back into this game. If they can continue to put people into foul trouble, that's going to change how the game flows, especially if you're able to take some of the more troublesome players off of the court for Western Washington.
Olsen working her way. She makes a nice cut around Gallatin for 2 underneath, nearly uncontested at that point. Maltezo, now here's Bowman, kicked out. Gallatin from the corner, not gonna fall. Have to see, that one is gonna go to the Vikings. Sam Bowman getting a hand on it.
As this team starts to develop, and you're gonna have a whole another year to really develop what you want to do offensively, I think this is gonna look different offensive play style wise than any other Wildcat team next year, because I don't think that this is a team that can take their big and stretch the floor out as they have been in years past.
Olsen to Coleman, who was left wide open. She can't connect on the 3. The rebound bounces out to Tori Maeda. Now Malcolm. Malcolm's shot. Jamaica, I think, tipped it. Here's Olsen. She'll pull up for 2 and knock it down.
Great stop. The defender was playing with their eyes in the wrong position and didn't want to fall down.
That one's not gonna go. The rebound. Oh, that'll go to the Wildcats, I believe, was the call. The Vikings making a pair of changes. Riley Dykstra and Emma Duff will come back on.
Wildcats, 2 players from Hawaii on the floor for them. Obviously one through a transfer, but it goes to show recruiting and friendships kind of help develop your team. The Wildcats, though, very heavy from the state of Washington, which is what you always want. Obviously in this...
Maltezo for 3. That one clangs off the rim. Bowman battles and takes home the offensive rebound. Maltezo back for Bowman for 3. That one doesn't go, and Duff able to keep Malcolm out of the way to haul in the board. Dykstra back for Duff. Duff driving in on Malcolm. Kick back to Dykstra. At the baseline underneath the basket. Back up top. Castaneda, and she's going to slow things down. 10 seconds now on the shot clock for the Vikings. She pulls back for 3. That one doesn't connect. Riley Dykstra, though, will finally get it on what seems like the 3rd or 4th chance.
Well, and that's the problem. The Wildcats having trouble getting those rebounds, but I'll tell you, Sam Bowman did a great job defensively, just staying in the right position. Foul on the floor.
And a foul called.
So what's been happening to the Wildcats is that baseline, somebody will penetrate. They've been able to kick it to one of the bigs for Western Washington, but Bowman stayed at home the entire time. It basically ruined their whole offense. The problem is no one else on the Wildcats team was going in and battling for the boards where Bowman would usually be.
Maeda at the line. The first one does not fall. Maeda, Bowman, Malcolm, Gallatin, and Stevens on the floor for Central. Maeda's second free throw is up and good. The Vikings are going to bring on Iwami and Fierke at the next opportunity.
And you just see the depth of that Western Washington bench versus the Wildcats, who only are playing 8 players tonight.
Olsen stops just outside the paint. Trying to go to Rogers underneath, intercepted by Bowman. Going back the other way now, it's Stevens. Back for Bowman, now Tori Maeda. Underneath, Malcolm in the paint. Rogers stripped it loose. No, a foul called instead.
Wildcats using Malcolm down low in the middle. The joke continues, but what's happening down there is drawing that double team. If they're able to pick up those fouls, if you get a Kelsey or a Gamaka in foul trouble, that's going to allow you to push more as a team later on in this game as their bench gets a little shorter. But you have to remember, the later this game gets, the shortness and the lack of depth that the Wildcats have is going to start shining through. 64-46 the score, 1 minute left in the third quarter here. I almost said period.
Make it 47 as Malcolm knocks down the first one. Second one on the way, and it's up and good. Malcolm has just that tiny step in her free throw.
Don't give anything away here, bud.
Hey, I just, I like pointing out the oddities. A little bit of helter-skelter underneath the net, everybody batting away at it. And it will remain Vikings possession. Iwami will take the inbound for Rogers.
Going back to the free throw, though, it's something. Oh!
That one's loose, and Iwami will track it down in front of the press row.
Kelsey will come for that screen. Oh, having to dump the ball off.
Iwami gets it back, screen sent by Rogers, back to Rogers, now for Duff, and a foul is going to be called against Cassidy Malcolm, who got a hand there late.
Player looped right underneath Malcolm. Malcolm's eyes were on the player with the ball, and she just lost her defensive responsibility in that one. But going back to the free throw, that's something that's happened for a while, but you don't notice it because of the mountains and the CW. It's hard to tell where the line is. It actually happens more than you think, especially in the men's game, I've noticed, with a few players on the opposing teams because they don't know where to set. Little behind the scenes, something that we don't talk about, Caleb.
Emma Duff knocks down both of her free throws. It's just like at the old Boston Garden, there were dead spots on the floor that only the Celtics had memorized as Maeda drives the lane and can't get it to go.
Caleb talking about the East Coast. I wonder where he's from.
Can't be New England, that's for sure. Iwami holding on the W, now walking across the cat ears. Rogers holding. Duff works her way back to the paint, now steps back, finds Rogers again underneath Maltezo. Got a hand to it, the shot, They're going to say it's a shot clock violation. Bierke almost got that off in time from the corner.
What a play by Maltezo, having the wherewithal to say, shot clock's low, I'm going to go for this ball. That caused the ball not to be sent with the full force. Great play. Time running down, and nothing doing on that one. A lot of physical contact, but it was after the whistle. So 66-48, the Wildcats clawed back into it, made it a little more respectable. Now they've fallen off a little bit. I think fourth quarter, the Wildcats will need to come out quick within the first 3 to 4 minutes if they really want to close the gap. If not, the depth of Western Washington will really start to expose the lack of depth that Central has. Central only suiting 8 players tonight. Western, within the first quarter of the game, had already had 8 players that scored, 10 that had already come into the game. Just a lot of stats out there.
Just a lot, you know, that's good. I got the live stream pulled up over here, watching the chat. Nobody's having too much fun in there this week, unfortunately.
It's an early game. I think usually with the YouTube audience, that 7 p.m. is a perfect one for them to start coming in.
I tell you, they really do enjoy you and Will up here.
Well, I think they enjoy Will. I think I come in with the cheesy dad jokes, but I get to be professional with another adult. Like I like to act like those that are around me.
66-48 here during the break in between the third and fourth quarter. Jeff, one of the things I've noticed, right? That was right, third and fourth.
No, you're perfect.
Okay.
I'm thinking in my head all those that have been around me and how I act like them. I'm like, wow, that'll explain a lot about football with me and old Tuna.
One of the things I've really noticed from Central Washington, and something as they go on the road tomorrow to play Western in Bellingham, consistency. I know that it's a shortened season, it's a tough situation, they haven't maybe had the practice time they'd like, but consistency has just not been there tonight on either offense or defense.
Well, I just don't think they know who they are. I mean, and I'm not going to put any specific players, but I'm going to say that this is not essentially the role that some of these players should be in. That's something for the coaching staff to figure out. But I'll tell you, Cassidy Malcolm is the garbage woman of this team, the person that will go down and battle, fight for everything, loose balls, but she's got so many skills. Bowman is the multi-tooled athlete that the Wildcats like to put at that high forward position. Great bounce pass underneath. Rogers getting the bucket.
Maltezo taking it over center for Central, 68-48, so it's back to a 20-point differential here. The Wildcats had it down to around 8-6 at one point. And a foul is going to be called.
Didn't see the number on that one. I think it is going to be Duff, but remember there are now 2 players on the floor. If it is Duff, it is. With 3 fouls, keeping an eye on that one.
And they are 2 consequential players in Emma Duff and Danny Owami. Here's Central. Malcolm got it from Troy, kicks it out for Maltezo for 3. That one rattles off the rim, and Kelsey Rogers hauls it in.
Quick release by Maltezo on that one. The Wildcats lose an offensive player in transition.
And it looks like Kira Bush may be called for her 4th foul. If that one ends up the way I think it is, it will. It'll be Bush with her 4th. And they are going to protect her here for at least, no, excuse me, Bowman is going to come on. Nope, I was right. They're going to protect Bush here for a few minutes. She'll get a breather, and Sam Bowman will re-enter.
Malcolm made eye contact, said, oh, I'm coming out. Okay, and came running off the floor, but not what they want to do. They did want to protect the other forward out there.
Even from here, you can see that little head tilt for Malcolm. Oh, me? Okay. Here's Iwani with an open look at 3, and she knocks that one down. 71-48 with 9 left in regulation.
They do a great job of protecting Iwami's jump shot, which is a slow build-up.
Maltezo underneath was looking for Bowman, who was cutting back, didn't find her. Now this one dumped down to the other side, and Riley Dykstra picks up 2. Timeout called on the floor by Randy Richardson-Thornley.
Doing play-by-play and color commentary, one of the things you run into is the names, and you run into names maybe you've never seen before. But I'll tell you, growing up, I saw that name Dykstra all the time. So whenever I see that one, that's an easy one for me to sound out and get real quick. As a big Phillies fan when I was growing up as a young kid.
In New England, I was treated to Nomar Garciaparra.
Amazing shortstop,
right.
Maybe one of the best ever.
Well, see, you say that. He was pretty good. But he was, I feel, he was with Jeter in the bottom of those 3. It was A-Rod, Jeter, and Nomar who all came up together, and A-Rod was by far the best.
I'm open to breaking into a baseball podcast because there was another one for the New York Mets. There was a great shortstop running around who only had like a 3-year period. Name slips in my mind right now, but it was this great 4 shortstops that had kind of appeared on the scene, and it turned into, obviously you had Alex Rodriguez in the power, and then he goes to Texas with that amazing contract. But so much great talent in the shortstop position. All this from just a name.
8:46 to go in quarter number 4, 73-48.
They could never put us together, in the same office. I think we just get lost.
You should come out and do baseball or softball with me once this year, and we can really go on tangents.
I will tell you, I'll probably get beaned a lot. That's what happened when I played Babe Ruth baseball, and that's why I wanted to stop playing. Didn't like the contact. 73-48. Tough game for the Wildcats women. It's their first time on the floor this year, and they just haven't found the consistency or the rhythm to really put the fight in this game.
Bowman, now Malcolm. Works her way inside, and she is smothered by the Vikings defense. And a shot from Maltizo, no good, but Bowman finds it. Bowman's gonna get a chance for 3. That one's no good either. Kicked out for Stevens. 17 on the shot clock. Jenna Troy's shot is no good. Another chance for Bowman, no good. She'll get the rebound, and a foul is gonna be called. That was, 5 chances there offensively?
5 chances, 3 3-pointers. 2 of the 3-pointers not hitting rim. Is something to keep an eye on for the Wildcats. To me, that is the short bench. That is being tired more than anything. I think your legs get tired. I think you're trying to make too much happen in this game. Now it's just find your rhythm. I know you want to get back into this and win, but 73-48 the score, 8 minutes left in the game. I think it's starting to, let's work out the nuts and bolts of this offense. Let's make the widgets, as one would say.
The Vikings with a few substitutions, going with a bit taller lineup. Jamaica checks on, as does Olsen. 73-49 as Bowman knocks down the second. Duff, Olsen.
Wildcats in a zone defense now. Beautiful
one
block.
Slapped away by Bowman. Zaragoza, however, gets the second effort for 2. Stevens on the long pass. Malcolm, the 5th Wildcat, over the center line. She drives the lane, and Duff is going to be called for the foul. That is Duff, I believe.
They're going to call Duff.
4 fouls now for Emma Duff to go along with 13 points. She and Zaragoza both with 13 on the floor right now for the Vikings.
And she's actually talking to the side. She just realized she had 4. She looked up and called for herself to be taken out. She said, hey, I've got 4 in this situation. But in a game that's this handy, that's great. That's great awareness of knowing where you are and what you've committed in this game.
Malcolm's got 1, then 2. Avery Dykstra will check on for the Vikings. Junior from Everson, Washington. Again, the Vikings getting a chance to return just about the entire team next year, and a good foundation to look at another NCAA bid for the Vikings.
Well, I think a lot of it comes on that perimeter play. They have a great ability of moving the ball around, as we see here. Ball goes in and out, great rebound. But the other thing they have is the ability for second chance points with the great offensive rebounding that their bigs give them.
Avery Dykstra fighting underneath with Stevens. Jamaica tracks it down. Bowman right on top of her. Castaneda driving into Maltizo. Bowman got a hand in there and tried to knock it away. That shot from Avery Dykstra is not going to count. It did not go in, but it's not going to reset the shot clock, and the Wildcats, will make a pair of changes as Kinsley Gallatin comes on, as does Tori Maeda.
Dykstra had great court awareness there, looked right up, saw 1 on the clock, got it off real quick. In most positions where the ball gets knocked out like that, you usually see the shot clock go off with no shot, but she had great vision and court awareness to get at least an attempt up.
Troy for Maeda for 3, that one off the front of the rim. And a foul is going to be called on the floor, they say. That one's going to go against Gracie Castaneda. Kira Bush checking back on. Bowman will take a breather, and with just the 8 players suited for tonight's game, the Wildcats trying to keep those shifts short. Malcolm tried to haul the pass in and keep it away from Zaragoza and unable to do so. So going the other way, the Vikings with it near center.
Bush had a little bit of a problem delivering the ball. That's the third one she struggled to deliver in cleanly. She didn't put enough heat on that one, as one would say.
Avery Dykstra a little too much off the glass. Maeda for Troy. Troy holding, drawing Olsen. Here's Malcolm. Gallatin now cutting underneath towards the baseline. Into the paint she goes. Tossed it up, no good. And Bush collides with Castaneda and had to pull the hand back. Doesn't want to risk that fifth foul with 6 to play.
And that's what I thought was going to happen in that situation. A lot of physical contact. Now she cannot play aggressive because she doesn't want to get into that situation.
Castaneda driving underneath. The Wildcats will come away with it. Jenna Troy finding Gallatin. Olsen stops her before she can get into the paint. Bush, Maeda. Maeda works to her left. Castaneda goes with her. Here's Malcolm. Back for Maeda for 3. She's got it.
Great look from Maeda coming off to her right hand. Lets it go in rhythm. Beautiful setup too, as she was able to deliver a clean pass down to the post, and then she receives it back.
75-54, 5.5 to play in regulation. That'll be a travel as Olsen went up, came down, and the ball did not.
Kiera Bush right there had a great heads-up play. She was able to put her hand out, make the offensive player think that she was going to contest the shot, and then she went into the passing lane. That's what caused the up and down. You don't usually see those too much, but there you do. Quality defensive play from Bush.
Jamaica will check off, and Emma Duff will come on. Bowman's back on for Central for Cassidy Malcolm. Now Avery Dykstra is going to give Tori Maeda quite a bit of pressure as she tries to leave her own zone, able to get across the center line. Troy down underneath, and if that's a foul on Bush, that'll be 5. That is 5.
Bush got into the defender and basically pushed her down as she was moving into position. I think that's kind of it's a tough call, where she was, but I think she's kind of been trying to find the experience of the game tonight is what I would say, and has been out of a position a few times. This is a great set of bigs, though, also on the flip side that the Wildcats are facing. Each one of them brings something unique in the way they play. I really love watching Rogers play 15 feet away from the basket and the screens she sets, especially with the balls in her hand.
Owami, as the Wildcats are now down to 7 players. Here's Rogers, back out to Duff. Avery Dykstra, 7 seconds on the shot clock. Rogers, that one's not going to fall. Malcolm will haul in the rebound, and the Wildcats are on offense. Here's Tori Maeda, guarded by Owami, and Owami, steps right around the screen. Now here's Bowman trying to work her way around Rogers. She does for 2.
Bowman's eyes up, looking to make that pass to the corner. It wasn't there, so she finishes easily with great use of her front side arm.
And there's a timeout on the floor. We had 4:27 left in regulation. The Vikings leading 75-56 here in Ellensburg.
That'll give us an opportunity to take a quick break with that timeout. We can take a timeout with the Wildcats in a tough spot with 4:27 left on the clock here on the Wildcat Sports Radio Network.
Shot no good. Avery Dykstra will get the second effort and put that in. It's 77-56. The Vikings back down to over a 20-point lead. A fight for the ball. Maeda and Owami comes away with it. Possession will stay in the hands of the Wildcats based on the possession arrow down there.
gutsy play by Awami there, who has 3 fouls in this game right now, diving on the floor with 4 minutes left. I know that the game might seem like it's in control, but you don't want to put yourself in more foul trouble situations.
Stevens backing up towards the sideline. Latin tried to spin off and had her pocket picked by Avery Dykstra. Now it's a one-on-one going the other way, and that one got down into the feet. We're playing a little futsal. It will remain Viking ball as both sides will make one change.
What an outstanding effort. Troy sprinting down from the far side of the court, was not going to let the easy basket happen. 3:43 on the clock.
Duff uncontested on that shot, no good. Malcolm has the rebound. Jenna Troy now for Central. Here's Giza Maltizo just on the edge of the press table.
Duff had the first basket of the second half and has not found her way to the bottom of the net since then.
Malcolm reels that one in as it overextended her just a little bit. Here's Maeda for 3. Bangs off the rim. Olsen. Iwami. Dumps it down Neath. Jamaica fighting with Malcolm. Oh, she goes under for 2.
Jamaica and Kelsey both have this great little move when they come across, using the shoulder, rolling to the tricep into the elbow, and then creating their own shot underneath. It gives just enough space.
Malcolm for 3, and that one's knocked down.
Great shot by Cassidy Malcolm, stretching the floor, 79-59.
Jamaica was left open there, and the lead pass got it for 2, an easy 2 on that one.
Jamaica is making the Wildcats a crazy tonight. Missed the joke a little bit, but I almost had it.
Here's Tori Maeda. Off for Malcolm on the pick and roll. Stevens around the edge, Maltizo. Troy driving in. She'll have to pull back as a pair of defenders came after her. Maltizo for 3, no good. Trina Jamaica hauls in the rebound. 81-59, 2:10 to play in regulation.
Coach Randy Richardson Thornley was not expecting this kind of effort from her team. A lot of players watching on the perimeter and just expecting someone to make a play happen.
Jamaica the long range 2, no good. That was about a step and a half inside the 3-point line. Now here's Stevens. Back for Maeda, dump down low for Malcolm, and Avery Dykstra was right there fighting for it is Molly Olsen, and a foul is called.
Malcolm is a player who will create those things just because she's fighting so hard underneath. She will create opportunities. She demanded the ball as she flashed in front in the CW logo and got it, but it wasn't a crisp pass that needed to be high enough. She had a height advantage over the defender, wanted it moving to the basket. It was behind her a little bit. Just little errors are adding up for the Wildcats, and that's what's causing a lot of turnovers, bad looks, and white jerseys on the ground.
It's Riley Dykstra, Danny Iwami, Monique Fierke, Katrina Jamaica, and Madison Coleman on the floor right now for the Vikings as they made a trio of substitutions. They're going to make one more as Carly Zaragoza wants to come on at the next chance. Malcolm knocks that one down. The Wildcats with a pair of changes as well. Sam Bowman on and Kinsley Gallatin are on. Malcolm and Maeda will head off.
Zaragoza coming in for Jamaica. I think what's going to happen in the last few minutes is they're going to feed her the ball down low. I think this is kind of, let's just take the air out of the ball, finish this game. The Wildcats need to end on something big. Play physical, play hard here, see what you can create.
Zaragoza holding, now hands that one off. Fierke into the corner for Coleman, back to Iwami. The Vikings reset, 10 on the shot clock. 6 now, 5, Iwami underneath, no good. Rebound hauled in by Maltizo. She finds Stevens cutting on the near sideline. Bowman out for Jenna Troy for 3. That one off the rim. Maltizo's going to get the rebound. Take a step back for 3. That one's no good. Madison Coleman on the rebound for the Vikings with 60 seconds to go.
Coleman with great position as she fought underneath to get that rebound. That's the story of the night. Great positioning and knowing where you are on the court. The Vikings have demonstrated that they know exactly where they need to be, and they're running their offense the way it needs to be run.
Zaragoza for Fierke now, Iwami. Here's Coleman. 40 seconds, 5 on the shot clock. Coleman looking for help, gonna have to fight through a pair of defenders. Her shot is no good. Bowman. Now Kiza Maltizo. Maltizo into the lane for two. That one hits the back of the rim and pops out. And a foul call. That might go against Iwami. It will. It is her fourth.
I don't know if necessarily Iwami got the arms, but I think she got a little bit of the wrist on that one. It's a bang-bang call, but what a great effort to get the rebound against 3 Vikings for the Wildcat player there.
Troy at the line. The first one, no good.
We were talking about free throws. I'm going to pull up in the stats here as I can slowly get to them.
81-60, 25 seconds to go. The shot clock is off. Second one falls for Jenna Troy.
Wildcats have struggled from the line throughout. We can talk about multiple misses that would have pulled this game closer. A 20-point game, though, that just says a lot of things that you need to go work on. The biggest thing you need to work on is consistency. We've talked about it at half. We've said it to each other. The Wildcats need some kind of consistency and to know who they can go to when they come down the court, and I don't think they have that identity just yet.
That is the final buzzer. The Vikings take down the Wildcats 81-61 in the Wildcats season opener here in Ellensburg.
81-61, a tough loss. What are your takeaways in this game in the final few bars that we have here?
Well, for your first game of the season, you only get 2. It's not bad. It is what it is, based on the circumstances that you've had to play with. And a 20-point loss is, of course, disappointing. It was inconsistent, I think, from start to finish for the Wildcats, but that's something that when you're just playing 2 games and you've had limited opportunities, as just about everybody has across the NCAA this year, thanks to the pandemic, at least you're getting to play.
Maltizo, outstanding. First time seeing her in a Wildcats uniform, bringing the pace, bringing some aggression, willing to dive on the floor. That stands out to me as a player that the Wildcats can build, can try and get into her hands. I don't think she's coming back next year, if I remember correctly, with how everything works out for transferring schools and whatnot. But Cassidy Malcolm, Sam Bowman, the Wildcats have a great foundation. It's just finding those players to help spread the floor and help free things up for them. That'll do it here. The Wildcats fall in a tough one, but it's their season opener. It's great to see them on the floor post-pandemic. That'll do it here. Jeff McMillan, Caleb Dunlap, it's the Wildcat Sports Radio Network on KCWU Ellensburg, your Music Central, 88.1, The Bird.
head started spinning. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to talk about shortstops from the early 2000s. And I mean that in like the best way possible. Like at some point, I run out of steam. Like at some point, I can only talk about meeting Luke Smith so many times. You know what's a crazy story? You're like the girlfriend's parents that don't have any stories. Like that's the only downside is